this is our Envision 1 system. This is currently one of the biggest desktop printers on the market at this moment in time, which can actually print up to 6 dentures in 45 minutes, 15-20 crowns in less than 20 minutes, along with different things like surgical guides, models, removable dies, pretty much anything you can think of. So this is our system here. Essentially what Ewan's going to do now is he's just going to show you how easy it is to load up the system with resin, and then we're just going to start the build for you. So all you need to do is pick your resin, pour it into the tray, like so. Now each product you're going to want to build has a different resin attached to it, okay? So we're just using eModel Lite today because it's the best thing to show a different range of products that you can print. However, to make clear that if you were going to use dentures, you would use something like eDent, or if you were going to use surgical guides or night guard, you would use something like eGuard or something like that. You would not use eModel Lite apart from anything but from models. So you can see the tray's filled up. All we then do is just push down the cover here. This is just to stop things like splashes happening and making sure that everyone's safe. You can see all the jobs are loaded up here. All you do is use, if you're using Exocad or FreeShape, all you need to do is export it into the printer via Wi-Fi or Ethernet cable, whatever you have, and then you just have to find your job. So this is our job here. So all I need to do is click, and then it comes up. Now this little screen is fantastic because not only it shows you pictures of what you're trying to print, but it also shows you the status, the material that you're using, the layer thickness, the layers, and the max print time it's going to take. So this is going to take 40 minutes for these models, okay? All I have to do is press play. The job is then preparing, and then all you're going to see after the job starts is the build platform slowly lowering down into the tray, and then the build will start. The way the CPL technology works is really quite simple. The build platform lowers down onto the tray, and essentially uses light from the printer to slowly cure the product as it moves up. So it moves up in really slow increments just to cure each level as it goes, and you'll be able to see that as the print. So there we go, we can see it moving down now, ready into the tray. Before we move on to our print for the day, we're just going to show you some models, the resins they're actually made out of, and the different scope of what you can actually do with either our Day 4K or our Envision 1. So before you see a variation of models and products that have actually been printed with the Envision 1 printer. We can start with a model that actually has removable dies. If I just put that up to the camera, you can see it goes round where your little pins would be. And this is it here. Now, actually, as you can see, if I just pop each individual one out, it shows you each removable die. Now, the way this is actually printed on the printer is you would print this base and you would print these separately. And that allows them to just slot in as perfectly as you see here. Now this is one of the things that's fantastic about Envision Tech products. The accuracy is so high, actually down to 25 microns on the XY resolution, which means there is literally no gaps, as you can see, and it's a nice quality tight fitting product that you'd be quite happy to give to your clients. This is actually done in E-model Peach, and this would just be just a model. Obviously we have different resins for different things, as we'll go on to discuss. But this is E-model Peach, and this is your removable direct model. Next, we come on to our denture base. Now this is, again, this is just E-model Peach. A great wee base here for our model. Not needing a whole lot of resolution and definition, but still easy enough to print. And this is our denture base, one of the best products we can actually print. So as you can see, this has its supports at the top here, and the reason it has the supports at the top here is because these dentures are best to print upwards. Now this does take a little bit longer, but it means you can fit way more on the build platform. With the Envision 1 you can fit around 6 of these at a time. With the D4K you can fit around 4. And as you can see, this is it just as it comes out. You know, obviously once it comes out of the printer, this is where you can put your touch on it, your finishing, what makes your lab special. And this is currently done in eDent. We then move on to some of the wax products that we have. These are fantastic for, you know, partial bridges. You can also use some of our wax products to actually make crowns and then use the burnout. So here we see just another model, an E-Peach, with the gaps, and then you just fit perfectly on. So we actually have some wax resins that can be sculpted after printing, and this is fantastic for little trims and changes that you want to make, as well as our burnout products. And this is fantastic because, as you can see, you're printing both on the printer at separate times, checking to make sure they fit, and then you're ready to go, as so. We then move on to probably one of our most important products that we can print. Everyone knows what a surgical guide is. The UK is slowly becoming one of the worst places for dental liability. One thing about going digital that a lot of you will know is the fact that you actually have this case file, you know, straight from Exocad and 3Shape, and paperwork that shows each step of the process. Now, what I think is fantastic about 3D printing is the fact that you can put 6 or 7 of these off at a time. You can make sure your patient's protected, you're protected, and it really does cut out as much of the hassle as humanly possible, with keeping that quality product. And we're really lucky because the Envision 1 and D4K are so accurate. You have a product that you can trust. We'll just set that back on there. Now we come on to our eGuard resin, and this is, as you can guess, exactly what it's for. It's for doing night guards. In the next 6 months to 8 months, we'll actually have a product that can print clear aligners straight from the 3D printer. So keep an eye out for that. Obviously, right now we have the Theraform models and that sort of stuff that can be used, but in the next kind of 6 to 8 months, there will be a resin that comes straight out of the printer that can print your aligners, which will be fantastic. Here again we have some more removable model dies that can be removed as so. These are fantastic for things like crowns and bridges, and really gives you that, again, that quality feel. Here we have our E-tray resin. As you can guess, is for our trays. I'm actually one of these people that, unfortunately, when I had braces, I had to have about 20 impressions done just for the shape of my mouth. So this is fantastic that you can actually scan a patient and then print off a model that aligns to the patient's mouth then and there, quickly, easily, and it only means the patient has to go through one impression, which is a much better experience for the patient and a lot cheaper experience for the lab on orthodontist as well. And again, just showing another one of our eGuard products. So this is how it would actually come out of the printer. As I said, with the dentures, you would print them this way. That's why all the supports are here. And with the eGuard, you would print it long ways. So you can actually fit maybe 4 or 5 of these in the printer, depending on what printer it is. The Envision one probably a little bit more, maybe 6 or 7. And all you do is actually just break off these little supports here, which keeps your product in shape and ready to go. And lastly, this is just some of our partial prints to show each individual part of the model. As you see, that just clips off there as well. So this is, just as I said, a brief introduction into some of the products that we can actually print and the different resins we use. Envision Tech currently has 300 odd resins that can be currently used, with about 100 of them being in the dental profession. This means that, truthfully, if you can think about it, you can do it. And this is what 3D printing gives you. It gives you this spectacular range to do whatever your clients need you to do when you need them to do them. At the same time, providing that accuracy and quality that means it will work every single time and you'll be happy with the products. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go onto our print. Thank you very much and enjoy. So hello again. Obviously today we're just kind of showing you through a full print cycle and try to give everybody as much of an introduction to the Envision 1 and Envision Tech's products. So here we have our Envision 1. It's just finished our print that you have just saw, and obviously we see the build platform has raised up, and now we have our lovely denture products on our build platform at the top here. Now, one of the fantastic things, as I've mentioned before, is that we actually only use the resin needed to make the materials. So all this other resin that's still on the bottom of the build platform here, that can actually still be used. And another great thing about the Envision 1 is it actually shows us exactly how much we've used here. So Ewan's going to come in, making sure he's wearing his rubber gloves, and he's actually going to show you how to take it off. So really simply, lifting up the casing, and then it's just this quick wee twist of the knob, and off it comes. Just letting any residual resin just drip off into the pan. As I said, that can go back into the bottle for later, so you want to save as much as you can. Now, you'll be able to see just slightly that there's lots of supports, and that's the only thing that Ewan's going to take off. And one of the things about the software, like ExoCAD and stuff like that, is it actually helps you build that on, so you don't have to touch anything. So we're just going to move this over slightly, okay? And this is going to show Ewan just taking off the products. So just with a little pry tool, just breaking those supports down. There's one off, two off, and that's 3. And you can see there that, you know, one fell off, but Ewan wasn't really worried because the material is actually 95% cured, so you don't have to worry about damaging it, taking it off. And then we see our denture base, our printed teeth that will just click on very nicely, and then our actual gums there as well. So all that will be left after this is wash and then cure these products. But you can see how nicely just off the printer they fit in, and they're now ready to be washed and cured and ready to go.